history in the making as Los Angeles strikes first. Across to the backside, yes! The overlapping run off her line is Barnhart, leaves the net wide open. Kelly Smith with a chance and she equalizes! This is a good start. Wilson again down the right side, looking inside for Weimer, yes! Waiting for some help, wide open space. Young to come out, cut the angle! Lofted in, Barnhart stays at home. There's Wambach, yes! Unbelievable!
Honestly, I like to state claim that we're going to be the WPS 2008 champions. I'm going to state that claim loud and proud.
It might be dark skies here at the Maryland Soccerplex, but the mood is bright just outside our nation's capital as the Washington Freedom look to make it 2 in a row when they host the St. Louis Athletica, all part of WPS Sundays on FSC. Hi again, soccer fans, and welcome to the Maryland Soccerplex. Alongside Jen Hildreth, I'm Mark Rogandino. Glad you could join us here on FSC. Jen, as we just detailed right there, we've seen every other team, the rest of the 6 teams in WPS, but we haven't seen St. Louis Athletica. Their day comes today.
And, you know, this is a team that's got to make a statement. St. Louis has yet to score, yet to win. They need to prove they can hang offensively in this league. That was something we saw the Washington Freedom do last week, scoring 4 goals in an exciting win over FC Gold Pride. But this Freedom team is also susceptible defensively. They've given up the most goals in the league, could be just what St. Louis needs.
Let's take a look at a couple of players for you to keep your eyes on at home, and we begin first with the return of the French international, Sonia Bonpastor.
Yeah, she was away playing with the French national team last week, and Washington was able to get its groove on without her, but she is such a playmaker on that left side of the field. It'll great to see how they work her into that mix offensively. And then for St. Louis, of course, one of the premier goalkeepers in the world, Hope Solo, the starting goalkeeper for the U.S. national team. Very strong, powerful, athletic presence back there in goal.
And as you could hear from Hope Solo stating some pretty big claims there in the open of our broadcast. Let's turn to our starting lineup presented by Puma, and we begin first with the Washington Freedom.
And the Freedom are going to line up in a 4-3-3. That's what we've seen from them the last couple of games. Katie Jo Spizak's going to get the start in goal for the second game in a row after getting the win last week. Player to watch in the midfield, Lori Lindsay, coming off a very good game against FC Gold Pride, found a lot of room to move and be active in that attacking midfield spot. And then for the St. Louis Athletica, they are going to line up in a 4-4-2. The stalwart Solo in goal. They're going to need her leadership back there. Very young back line defensively. Lori Klepny, U.S. national team captain in the midfield. And a player to watch up top, Melissa Tancredi, a Canadian international converted defender who Coach George Barcelos really likes the way she plays and holds the ball up top.
Also a good idea to keep an eye on the central midfielder, Angie Wozniak, out of the University of Portland. Followed her a couple of times in college. Very good in the midfield, and she'll deliver that service for Tancredi up top. Well, we step aside for a timeout. The table is set, and now it is game time. Washington looking to make it 2 straight, and St. Louis hoping to spoil the party. First half kick, WPS Sundays on FSC is next.
This program is brought to you by Puma is a founding partner of women's professional soccer.
And it's time to get funky. Yeah, yeah. Ladies, let me see you get down low with the head. Shoulders, knees and toes. Man, them, let me see you keep it show with the head. Shoulders, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Heads, 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 heads. Shoulders, knees and toes.
WorldSoccerShop.com is the destination for all your women's professional soccer merchandise. You'll find jerseys, t-shirts, balls, and more for every team in the league. Log on to WorldSoccerShop.com to get your favorite team's gear today.
Not again. Stupid!
With GameFly, choose from over 6,000 titles. Play as long as you want and send them back when you're done. No late fees. Try for free. Gamefly.com. Games delivered. Product shown rated E through M.
The stage is set. It's a Premier League blockbuster. Arsenal, Chelsea. Live May 10th on Fox Soccer Channel.
Here comes Mexico. Volley! Verdi! Yes!
Here on FSC as we get set for the first half kick here between the Washington Freedom and St. Louis Athletica. Mark Rogandino, Jen Hildreth, the rest of the Fox Soccer Channel crew with you. A quick look at the table before we get to the first half kick, and you see that correctly. LA was dealt their first loss of the campaign, 2-1 against the second place side, the Boston Breakers, getting the win in that one. And Chicago now sitting in the third spot. You see St. Louis there at the bottom of the table. They are one of two teams along with Sky Blue FC still winless early here in the season. There's Abby Wambach. 2 goals for the good of the win for Washington last week, and she hopes to pick up the momentum and continue it on here today. We are underway. Washington begins with the ball in possession and attacking from right to left across your screen. We saw them in all red last week, and today they come out in the all dark blue kits with a little bit of white trim. And meanwhile, St. Louis with the green shorts. We're going to call them light gray tops and light gray socks, defending the goal to our left. Jen, you talked about it a little bit in the open that, you know, this is a crucial match here for both teams in a sense, but really for St. Louis because they need to get a win and they need to get some offense, more importantly, going in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, good defense is important, but you've got to score some goals to move up in the standings and to make a name for yourself. But, you know, they need to give their fans something to hold on to.
Daniela looking for an early chance there. She'll let one go from long range. But Katie Jo Spizak, who got the winning goal last week for Washington, right there to make an early save here this afternoon.
Quick shot there by Daniela on frame, so perhaps not a bad idea, but something that George Barcelos has talked about is his team needing to be very composed when they get those offensive chances. Their shot on goal percentage is one of, in fact, it's the lowest in the league by far, just about 22% of their shots making it on to goal. So they've got to make good decisions when they get that ball in attacking opportunities.
Kalupny down the left side, looking for a chance to maybe swing one in. A run cut off there for a moment, tried to play it back for Elise Weber, who's the left back. We'll see Elise get into the attacking foray quite often. That's one of the things that George Barcelos told us. She goes well forward. I should also point out, going back to your last comment about the offensive output from St. Louis as Kalupny tries to get inside the area here, cuts it back onto her right foot. The double team comes, and it'll be Jill Gilbo to step in and win it. The St. Louis folks would be very quick to point out, though, they did outshoot LA last week, but just were not able to get one past LeBlanc into the back of the net.
Yeah, in fact, St. Louis has outshot their opponents by a 2-to-1 ratio, but they've just not been able to finish. No, and that was the monkey on the Washington Freedom's back a week ago, and they certainly found a way to break out of their slump in a big way, scoring 4 goals in the win over FC Gold Pride.
Safe to say, if we could get anything close to that here this afternoon, we'd be in for another great treat.
Yeah, we set the bar pretty high last week.
Hey, if you missed it last week, 4-3 Washington get past FC Gold Pride, and in fact, such a great match. They showed a couple of encore performances on the channel, Fox Soccer Channel, so that you couldn't miss it. Ball passed over on the left side, but can't keep it in as this one rolls into the St. Louis bench. And Ciela to put it back in play. Balpastar pokes it away for a moment. Pastor. Little lofted ball to the backside looking for Ali Long. That one will dribble through. As Elise Weber sees it roll out, it'll be a goal kick here. We'll get our first glimpse at Hope Solo, the 27-year-old two-time Olympic gold medal winner. Just underway here in the opening couple of minutes. WPS Sunday on FSC. St. Louis lofting one forward, looking up top there for Tancredi, but the Canadian had trouble bringing it in. Now it comes wide here for Francielli. The Brazilian, young Brazilian, just a teenager, 19 years of age. Serving it in, but it's Washington stepping back here in possession. Singer. Missed touch there by De Dijker, maybe creating a chance. Ball pops loose. Daniela, top of the area, left foot. And that one will go over the top of the bar.
And that is a lot of what St. Louis is seeing. Daniela has got to get a better strike on that ball. She sends it way over frame, had a good look at it, good time, beautiful touch by Kolupny when she got the ball to kind of keep that play going. Now, these are the type of opportunities that sometimes when they're not falling for you, you start thinking about them too much, but that one just needed a little more composure from the Brazilian international.
And along those lines, we did have a conversation with Hope Solo earlier this week, and she seemed to convey that the pressure is more from the outside, not necessarily from the St. Louis players themselves.
Of course, that's the goalkeeper talking, somebody who's quite used to handling pressure and doesn't have anything to do with the goal scoring up top, much as she might like to, probably.
Singer, reset button as she sends it all the way back here for Spizak.
You'll see both goalkeepers in this game very apt at using their feet, distribution.
Nice little exchange. The ball finds the feet of Sawa. Daniela comes over to slow her down. De Dijker. She brings a physical attitude to this game. A little indecision at the back, but then headed back into the gloves of Hope Solo, who immediately sends one back the other way looking for the counter.
Look how quickly she can spring that attack and put the pressure on the defenders. As long as she gives her teammates a chance and time to run onto him, that's a great ball.
Sawa finds Bon Pastor. Out wide here for Wambach. Francielli sliding over to defend, and the left-footed effort goes right into the gloves of Hope Solo.
Kind of a tricky little play there by Abby. We're so used to seeing her up in the air as the target or possibly sending a cross in from where she was on the field, and she decided to just put it on the ground, make Hope get down and get to it.
There's Wozniak. She tried to feed it in up top. Sauerbrunn steps in right away to win possession here for Washington, but Daniela will take it right back. St. Louis off on the run. Kolupny into the edge of the area. Left-footed ball, backside, chance! And a great save from Spizak, still alive here for Athletica. Yes!
The scoring drought is over for St. Louis. Daniela. She told me she taught her teammates the samba. I don't know if we just saw a brief glimpse of that or not, but we certainly saw some scoring, which is so what this team needed. I said Daniela did not use enough composure the last opportunity she had. She sent it over the goal. This time, she did exactly what she needed to do, had a point-blank look, and she didn't mess up.
Big-time save to start it, though, from Spizak right there.
You know, and Jim Gabera for Washington has said that his goalkeepers have yet to really give his team a momentum-changing big save. Well, Spizak had it, but it wasn't enough.
That secondary ball just bouncing around inside the area. And you got it. Daniela was there to finish it and put it home. So 7 minutes in, St. Louis Athletica break the scoring drought. And they were dancing in samba celebration here on the field. I'm sure there's a little dancing going on back there in St. Louis as well. Wozniak, Francielli, early ball into the feet of Daniela. Looking for Wozniak to continue a run down the right side. Alex Singer will track it down as it trickles out. Francielli knocked off the ball from Bon Pastor, and a whistle comes in from our referee, Shane Butler. Good start to the first half here for St. Louis. Starts Barcelos, the Brazilian coach, 41 years old. Of course, oversaw the women's Brazilian national team for a number of years, and now a nice gem for WPS to have in the stable. Spizak off her line to punch it clear. Maybe another one deflected out by Sauerbrunn on the chance there. Maluco. This time Spizak spills it. Sauerbrunn is there. She'll send it back out top here for Ali Long. Ali Long, great 1-versus-1 player. Able to get past the first defender, but now past the second. Lisa Stoya, our first mention of the 26-year-old out of West Virginia University, and in the mix there to keep the chance from going further for the freedom.
And I think Katie Jo Spizak needs to be careful not to get frustrated right now. She's given up some rebounds and some deflections, and you know, the field is wet. It was a lot of rain today in Washington, so perhaps a little more slippery than what they've had to play on recently, but she's got to hang on to that ball and continue to be aggressive. Now, she came out very well on that last attack by St. Louis, and let me tell you what, Melissa Tancredi took her out. I mean, she went right into her. In fact, may have been lucky not to have gotten a call on it, because it was after the ball was there. She put her body right into Spizak, and I think that got Spizak very frustrated. Little chippiness going on between those two. Goalkeeper can't afford to let that happen.
We'll see how she reacts here as Wambach steps into possession. Wide for the French international, Sonia Bonpastor. Singer trying to make the overlapping run. Can she turn the corner there against Wozniak? And out for a throw here for St. Louis. Still inside the opening 10 minutes of play here at the Maryland Soccerplex. But St. Louis has struck to get one past Katie Jo Spizak. And for the first time all year, they have a lead. Daniela in between a couple of players, and she'll pick up the whistle. As we do each week, we take a look at some of the keys for you at home to keep an eye on throughout the match. Jen's Gems, what do you got for us, Jen?
Well, St. Louis already doing a pretty good job. I said to focus, not force, when they get into that offensive attacking third, when they get those chances. Don't put too much pressure on there, just let it come naturally. And for Washington, they need to possess in the midfield and find a way to link around. They're down numbers. They only have 3 in the midfield, where St. Louis has 4, so they've got to pass and switch the point of attack.
That'll be a very interesting part of the game as we take a look at that last foul to keep an eye on, is the midfield, talented core midfielders on both of these sides and how they match up throughout the 90 minutes.
Another key chance here. Be watching for a deflection. Spizak needs to come out hard for this.
Tina Ellertson along with Kia McNeill will come forward for the set pieces here. Driven in from Daniela, headed away initially by the freedom. Katie Jo Spizak out of Texas A&M. And as you mentioned, Jen, and Jim Guevara told us it wasn't an outstanding performance, but because they get the win, that's the reason she gets the start again. If you haven't been following along, Brianna Scurry starting a couple of the opening matches for Washington, but probably because of results and because not of stellar play, the reason Katie Jo got an opportunity last week, and she did the best with it.
Yeah, they just sort of felt they'd given up some soft goals, you know, and Bri would probably be the first to admit that maybe she wasn't as on top of her game as she would like to have been, and they gave Katie Jo a chance. And the other X factor, Erin McLeod, the Canadian national team goalkeeper, they've been trying to get her in here to Washington, but has been having some visa issues, so when she gets into the mix, that's going to shake things up a little bit too.
Talk about some healthy goalkeeper competition during the training sessions.
Yeah. And you know, what's been difficult for Washington is they expected to have that healthy goalkeeper training from the very beginning. They expected McLeod to be here, and they just have not been able to get those visa issues cleared up with her.
Singer trying to force it into the feet of Bonpastor. Didn't get there. Sauerbrunn, a little touch, and it comes out wide. Jill Gilbo at Ali Long, checking and asking for it at her feet. The ball went up and over the top, and here to the feet of Hope Solo. George Barcelos describes Hope Solo as just a great leader all the way from the back. Good vision and experience, as we know. And here's the Brazilian Franciele. Trying to use some individual effort to get by Pastor. And the French international finds some freedom down the left side. Wambach and Ali Long getting inside the area. Sawa comes over to help out right behind her, but a missed touch sends it out for a goal kick.
And Hope Solo told me that she felt that her back line is coming off their best game mentally. Defensively, good defense there. I watched them all get back. That could have been a very dangerous opportunity. Combination between Wambach and Bone Pastor, and that young D-line was able to get back and do just enough. You know, probably a mistouch there by Bone Pastor, but nonetheless, it looked like St. Louis had the players in position had she gotten a cross off.
Creedy was looking to run it down there, but instead it is poked out by Becky Sauerbrunn. Off her line is Spizak, and no trouble at all. She brings it in.
Seems like the Freedom has had some difficulty getting into much of a rhythm in this game. St. Louis, I'd say, has dominated the opening minutes. And Washington, a team that likes to try to keep possession, has really not been able to do that very well so far.
Headed away by McNeill. Ali Long, for UNC standout, trying to battle to win it back here for Washington. I have to agree with you. It's been a good, bright start so far here for the Athletica. Lori Lindsay had a great game last week against FC Gold Pride, including her second goal of the campaign. Whitehill finds a checking to Dyker. Try and send it out wide for Gilbo. Her first touch comes right to the feet of Daniela. Now Wozniak. Great idea to bring it back where it came from. Kalupny will leave it back there for Elise Weber. Daniela serving it in, looking for Tancredi. Again, here's Daniela, long distance, and Spizak up to her left. Second great save from the goalkeeper.
And a good challenge, too, by Kat Whitehill. She told me that one of the main things they've been working on defensively is to make sure they're really marking the player in or near the box. Daniela had a lot of space, a lot of room to move that time, and Kat came in and forced her to take that shot quickly. Still a very strong, hard strike by Daniela, and a nice save and good catch and save by Spizak. No rebound given up on that one.
Yeah, good point. Daniela is only going to get better. As George Barcelos told us, she came in a little out of shape when she came into camp. But that was another thing he was quick to point out, is she is good at shooting from distance. We've seen it a couple times here already. McNeill looking for the whistle. Abby Wambach quick to step in and put it back in play. Pastor over the top. Ali Long will give chase, but not before Hope Solo reaches out to get to it.
Just a little disjointed in the Freedom attack. I think they are losing the battle in the midfield right now. St. Louis is having their way in the middle of the field, and Washington's just not able to build up their attack very much. When they get up to that front line, they're not getting good chances.
Here's Pastor, left side, gets past Francielli, trying to serve it in, and a good recovery from the young right back.
Yeah, except for now, I should mention. I say they don't get good chances, and all of a sudden, here comes Bone Pastor, but as you mentioned, well defended by the young Brazilian.
Reminder for you, next Sunday, WPS Sunday on FSC continues. It'll be the Chicago Red Stars and Sky Blue FC. We saw those teams battle to a 0-0 result a couple of weeks ago. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. out on the West Coast. One 0 in favor of St. Louis here. First quarter of an hour is behind us. Lori Lindsay, good first time ball out wide here for Singer. Lindsay comes back in support. To the feet of Long. Pastor. Through for Abby Wambach, hits her in the back. Battling there against one of her former national team teammates in Tina Ellertson. What a story Tina Ellertson is. Mother of 2, quickly getting herself back into shape. I think it was, what, less than 10 months back into shape and appearing for the national team a couple months ago?
Let's just put it this way. Her youngest daughter turns 1 tomorrow. And she's been on the field and playing at a high level. Just incredible. And what an adorable little girl, by the way. Saw her at the hotel this morning. A real soccer mom for you.
Singer trying to put it in over the top. The Diker keeps it alive here for Hamari Sawa. Some space, finds Jill Gilbo on the overlapping run. Weber slides over to defense. Solo off her line. That's the aerial battle we're looking for. And this time it's Hope Solo coming out to get it before Wambach can find a touch.
Well, we talked to both of those players, Hope Solo and Abby Wambach, about the aerial battle we expected to see between the two of them because Abby is so strong in the air. Few players can match her in the air, but one of the ones who can is Hope Solo, no question about it. And it was funny when Hope was talking about it. I said, well, what advantage do you have? And she said, I can use both my arms. I said, you know what, if it really gets hairy, I'll just punch. I assumed she meant the ball.
We're going to assume.
Two great, aggressive, strong players that really should be a fun battle to watch.
Francielli, it looks like we're going to have a good battle on the left side of the Washington formation as well. Francielli and Bonpastor going at it here in the early going. Wambach leaves it there for Bonpastor. Big service all the way across. Solo thought about it and then retreats back to her line. Ali Long trying to chase it down, but Weber will knock it out. Healthy crowd on hand here at the Maryland Soccerplex. Capacity of about 6,000. Wambach inside the area, tackled away by Ellertson, still alive. And out for a throw here for the home side.
It's a great challenge from Ellertson. Coming right back at it, Washington Freedom. Bonpastor's header off the mark, though, on that one as they tried to quickly turn it around in the change of possession.
You are holding the ticket stubs of section 108, row H, seat 3. Just won a Washington Freedom prize pack.
Solo. Long ball forward. Headed away by De Diker. Wambach somehow in traffic, gets away with it, releases the ball here for Bonpastor. Chasing from behind is Ellertson. Bonpastor able to keep her off for just a moment. Inside the area, still a hard challenge, and finally out for a goal kick. I think some of the Freedom players may be looking for a whistle, but I don't know if you can give it there.
I don't think so. I think that's two great, fantastic challenges by Tina Ellertson. Yes, she's definitely into Bonpastor's body, but you know what? There's going to be a little bit of bumping, and I stand by that if you're going to call a foul in the box, it better really be a serious one, and I don't think that one was worthy of it.
Ellertson showing you the speed there. She was able to get back. Bonpastor had a couple of steps clearly in behind.
Yeah, speed and power.
And Creddy releases it for Kalupny. Has the chance in the overlapping run from Weber. Ball finds Elise Weber. Trying to push it right back in for Kalupny. Some traffic there. And here comes Lori Lindsay in the Washington Freedom. Great ball. Diagonally into the space here for Bonpastor, waiting for an option to help out. Overlapping run from Wambach. Instead, it's the right foot, but right at Solo.
I'm going to question that decision by Bonpastor. You're not going to get that shot past any goalkeeper in WPS, especially not Hope Solo. I like the idea of it because they think she's waited that long so she can find a player to pass to. They assume she's not going to shoot, so she does, but it's got to be a better struck ball.
Wozniak coming back the other way here for St. Louis. Singer. And now Ali Long from the center circle. Abby asking for it early. The ball gets through. Wambach, the Washington captain, looking to beat Solo from distance. And I think the same theory applies there. Going to be tough to beat Hope Solo from outside the area.
And don't think that doesn't get in the offensive players' heads either. You know you need to strike a good ball to beat her. Great vision, though, to see Wambach. You called it. She was calling for it. She knew she had the run if they could get her that ball through. Good hustle by the St. Louis defense to get back, but a couple of good chances. They're getting beat on these through balls. Need to watch their positioning.
Early momentum from St. Louis, maybe now starting to swing back in favor here of the Freedom. Maluko up top. Trying to get past Gilbo, and she does. Great speed. Centering pass. Daniela winds up and deflected out off of Singer.
I wouldn't have wanted to be any part of that deflection. And Daniela was coming at that with a full head of steam and just a lot of pace on the ball to her. And St. Louis is going to wind up with the first corner kick as a result.
And it will be the goal scorer, Daniela, to trot over there to put it back in play here for the visitors. Big ball to the back post. Spizak goes down for a moment, able to get back to her feet, but nobody gets a touch as it rolls all the way through and out. You can see the Freedom Beer Garden in their own little version of the hill over there back behind Katie Jo Spizak as part of the Maryland Soccerplex here. Bet that one's going to fill up on a sunny day come summertime.
And look at this place. I mean, it's pretty full on a not sunny day. Great crowd on hand here for this match.
We should also mention part of the Hall of Freedom induction for a couple of special players here at today's game. In fact, we will be joined by Mia Hamm later here in the first half. Deflected out, and now it's Washington who get their first corner. There's a look at it. Imagine the sunshine, Jen, middle of the summer. Pull out the towels. Sit down and enjoy some WPS. I'm in. Corner, driven in. Lori Lindsay just enough of a flick, headed away by Tancredi. And here's Aniola Aloku. Trying to get it back into her, into the space. She's got speed to get past the first defender. Still past the second. And that touch just a little too heavy. She had another option though, Jen, didn't she?
She did. It was not a good final touch by Aniola Aluko, English national team forward. But that speed, boy, she created a great opportunity for herself because she was fast enough to get onto that ball, but that last touch has got to be better. Either closer to herself to allow her the time to line up a shot, or she did have a teammate coming down the right side. I believe it was Tancredi up there. Could have touched it over.
Yep, the square ball there for Tancredi would have left her all alone looking for a tap-in. Solo venturing way out off her line here. Sauerbrunn just trying to clear it away. Ellertson couldn't find the first touch, and it finds Bonpastor. Some help here in Singer. First time ball from her, looking for the feet of Abby Wambach, doesn't get there. And the Canadian international Melissa Tancredi trying to keep it in there, but it's out for a throw here for the Freedom.
Tancredi started the season as a defensive player for St. Louis, but George Rosello said he just felt he needed her up top. It was a tactical change he wanted to make, made it in the second half, in the last game against Los Angeles, because he loves the way that she can post up in the box, and she's just got great athleticism and strength, and we haven't seen her been able to use much of that yet in this game.
Here's Kat Whitehill. This is almost an identical spot we saw them from last week. Expect the big service into the area from Kat, looking for Wambach to get on the end. Abby hovering near the penalty spot, but headed away as bodies collide just inside the 18.
And watch this challenge. Not a lot of players can match up with Abby Wambach in the air. I'm not so sure that shouldn't have been a foul called. Kia McNeill came in to defend there and went right into Abby's body, did not go up for the ball. Kind of a questionable no call, I think. Abby's not going to get a lot of calls because she is such a physical player, but I think she might have deserved one there.
Scoreless here in the 27th minute of play here at the Maryland Soccerplex. Sawa trying to feed one through here for Ali Long. Good defending back there from Elise Weber. This one will go out for a throw here for Washington. As Jill Gilbo gets set to put it back in play. Gilbo, 21 years old, out of the University of Texas, and she was the 22nd overall pick in the draft. Wambach gets in behind. Chasing is McNeill, forces her at least to slow down. Great ball back to the top of the area, but nobody home for the Freedom.
Bonpastor maybe a little too deep. Abby might have thought she was a step or two behind, but too deep to run onto that great ball that Abby played in.
Singer and Wozniak trying to chase that one down. And the former star of the University of Portland will just tap that one away. Pastor deflected on the way in and then headed away by Ellertson. Sauerbrunn keeps it alive right into the feet of Singer. Quick touches in tight space again, and it comes out here for a throw for Washington. Pastor looking to turn the corner, feeds one into the feet of Abby Wambach. Great ball to open things up wide for Gilbo. Plenty of space out there for the right back. She'll send it in toward the top of the area. Pastor! 1-1!
Lori Lindsay jumped up like she might get ahead on that ball. That might have been enough to throw the defenders off, because she did not make a play on it, and Bone Pastor obviously did. Let's take another look. Great service by Gilbo, putting it right back in the box. Bone Pastor finding that lower corner. She scored for France last Saturday. Now she scores for the Washington Freedom.
And the 28-year-old French international brings us level at 1 apiece. You hit the nail on the head, Jen. Great service from that right side from Gilbo. And let's not forget, it all started with a nice opening ball there from Abby Wambach to spray it out there wide.
Absolutely, you've got to find space, and Abby very alert to look up and see all that space Gilbo had on the other side of the field.
Kalupny trying to get into the space on her own. And St. Louis will get ready for a free kick chance here. Jen Hildreth, Mark Rogandino, the rest of the FSC crew here with you as part of WPS Sunday on FSC. And as St. Louis gets ready, we're joined by one of the greatest ever in the women's game, in the soccer game period. Mia Hamm joining us up here in the booth as Tancredi heads that one off target. Mia, thanks so much for joining us. So what a special day for you as part of the Hall of Freedom selection here. It's got to be a lot of fun and feel really good.
Oh, it's a tremendous honor, and you know, to be able to share it with Siri Molinex, a great teammate of mine who helped, was an integral part of bringing that championship here to Washington. And it's been fantastic to get back to see some of my former teammates and coaches, and the fans who are here in DC are just so supportive, and you know, we've had a good time.
And Mia, I know it was been pretty well publicized that Abby called you last week kind of saying, okay, I can't get things going offensively, but well, what did you tell her, and how many of your other teammates have you kind of been in contact with?
You're going to become the guru.
You know, yeah. Lil's fine. She'll be fine. No, Abby and I, she called me about it. We were talking about trying to get the First Lady out to the game, and I was chatting about seeing how she was doing, and you know, she wants to score every game. She wants to impact and takes every loss, every tie personally, and you gotta love that as a coach, as a fan of the game, as a teammate. And you know, the thing we talked about is just keep doing what you're doing, and don't ever lower your standards. That's the best way you can show your teammates that what's happening out there isn't good enough. And that's what she felt, you know, not being content with, you know, a tie when she felt they should have won a game. And, you know, to continue to go out and work hard and set that standard, and the goals will come. I mean, she's too good. She's too talented. She cares too much for them not to happen.
Speaking of talent, as Tancredi makes her way diagonally, looking for a chance to put it back inside. Mia, how have you viewed some of the games here? Because across the board, I think a lot of the sentiment has been that this league, the talent level is just unbelievable.
It's fantastic, and you know, it's across the board. There's great parity. You see a fantastic combination of you know, the domestic players and the international. The coaching level is high. The commitment from the communities, the ownership, the sponsors. But I love the fact that the international players have taken ownership of this league, because that's so important, that they want to be here and help the sport grow in this country, and they see the development themselves as players, and that rubs off. You know, when as a player you have Lori Lindsay here on the ball, who gets to play alongside Hamare Sawa, who in my opinion has been one of the best central midfielders of all times, and you can't help but get better when you're surrounded by players like that.
Tom Pastor trying to work her way inside the area, but before she can do so, a whistle comes in. If you're just joining us, 33rd minute of play.
2-point takedown.
Yeah. Mia Hamm, Jen Hildreth, and Mark Rogandino up in the booth with you. And good one so far here in the opening half as St. Louis got on the board through the Brazilian Daniela. And just moments ago, the French international finding the equalizer. You know, I got to ask you as a follow-up to that, does sometimes seeing some of these games have you want to say, maybe I should go back out there and put the boots on?
No, my time has come and gone. I enjoy, being a fan of the game. I've always been a fan of the game, and I love the commitment that these players have and the level at which they display, on a weekly basis, representing themselves and this game so well. When I saw Daniela slide in for a tackle, I'm like, thank God I'm not out there on the other end of that.
There is the aforementioned Daniela. She had the first goal for St. Louis earlier here in the half. This time has it poked away, and Kat Whitehill will try and spring the counter back the other way. How that ball rolls out.
Well, Mia, I don't know how much of a chance you get to watch soccer. 2 young ones, right? Just 2 years old, twin girls,
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're 2. They just turned 2 at the end of March. And I don't know, someone told them I played because little Grace talks about how mommy played. Every time I leave, it's because mommy's going to play soccer, but it's not happening.
The secret's out.
Yeah.
So have you gotten them out there yet? Should we assume they're kicking the ball around a little bit?
Yeah, in the backyard. We have them doing some corvers, and ran the Cooper test last week. Proud to say
You gave them a time.
Yeah.
You gave them your time as a point of reference.
They broke 30 minutes. We were proud. No, this is great. I mean, I love being here. I'm watching Lori Kolupny out there. She's one of my favorite players to watch for St. Louis. And with her, every touch has a purpose. As a young player, those are the type of players you watch. Is every touch is thoughtful. It's to get out of pressure. It's to set herself up for her next touch. I'm glad I get to. I had to watch her on TV with the national team, but to be able to see her play in person is a thrill.
Singer brings this one wide, tries to send it in. A whistle comes in. Mia, that'll give us a chance here. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Always great to see you. And just as you mentioned, players using their touch to set up. I mean, you obviously were a huge part of setting up WPS and the reason these girls were able to do it.
No, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Stay warm.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
That's Mia Hamm. And we appreciate her stopping by on a fantastic day. She will later today be inducted into the Hall of Freedom along with Suri Mullenix, the goalkeeper she mentioned. Here's Kat Whitehill serving it in. Hope Solo takes a knock inside the area, but the ball rolls out.
So if you're keeping track in the aerial battle, that's Hope Solo won, Abby Wambach won. Hope got the first one that went in there where those two challenged each other. She was able to come up with that one. Abby made sure she felt her presence in the air.
I think we're gonna have to add Kia McNeill though as a third option in there. She's got one tally too as well. Solo up top for Daniela. The overlap works perfectly as Wozniak steps in, but Lori Lindsay good defending in the central midfield. Immediately in for Bonpastor, looking to combine there with Abby Wambach. And here's Wozniak again back the other way. She motioned for the run from Melissa Tancredi, but two not on the same page there. As De Dijker will send it out wide for Gilbo. I thought that was pretty interesting. Mia Hamm saying that Lori Kolupny is one of her favorite players.
Yeah.
Shows you she's watching from home and taking it. She's supporting that new generation.
Absolutely, and I talked to Lori this morning. I can tell you what, I'm sure that she would be very honored to have heard those words from Mia, but I think that Mia just got it right on. I was trying to think of what was impressing me the most about Lori, and that's exactly it, that every touch has a purpose. She just really hit that nail right on the head.
And as George Barcelos, the coach of St. Louis, told us earlier this week, Lori Kolupny is the brains of this side. The 25-year-old out of UNC. Spizak brings that one in easily.
Shot by the whistle, Tancredi.
This time Spizak will let this one float through.
Kristen, solid line. Make sure we're not getting split.
39th minute of play, 1-1 here at the Maryland Soccerplex. Expecting a sellout crowd here as Abby Wambach takes a shot in the back from Kia McNeill. And Abby's slow to get up. I think we might see our first card of the match as Shane Butler goes into his pocket for a moment, and the yellow card does come out.
I think that is absolutely warranted. Kia McNeill, you've got to be physical against Abby Wambach, but she's taken it too far. I said before, there was one that didn't get called on Abby. She is going too hard into Abby's body, not enough for the ball. Absolutely a card.
So the first name in the book as far as the cards goes is Kia McNeill. She's also played professionally over in Sweden, so this isn't her first rodeo in the professional rankings. Whitehill, another one of those patented services, this time a little shorter for Bonpastor. Back for Singer, first time looking to the back post, and solo off her line to keep it from running out. Falls loose here for Aluko. English international with good pace, sends it in inside the area. Right at Spizak, but another good chance, this time from Tancredi. Little through ball, Sauerbrunn able to send it clear. And this one will run out as it looks like Francielli has now moved over to the left side of the defense.
Yeah, Francielli's moved to the left side, and Kolupny has moved back to defense from her midfield spot. Perhaps George Barcelo's wanting a little more experience.
Long distance, it's 2-1! Her second of the game, Daniela, what a strike.
I'm waiting for the samba. Come on, Daniela, don't let me down. Boy, she can just rip one from distance and so quickly. I said before, Kat Whitehill said they've got to mark better in the box. Well, for Daniela, that includes out of the box. And you know what? That was pretty well marked. She just got enough space to get a fantastic strike with so much power. Far post. Perhaps the angle could have been cut off a little bit better by Spizak. But still, what a strike by Daniela.
Yeah, I don't know if any goalkeeper's going to get a touch to that one. You're right, maybe if she's a step or two a little further out, she might be able to get a touch, but perfectly placed into that upper corner by Daniela. Her second puts St. Louis back in front. Free kick here for the Freedom. And this one a little closer. So again, we'll get a first-hand look as there's a confirmation. Daniela with her second goal of the night. And now Whitehill as Washington look for a response. This one looking for the far post. De Dijker inside for Bonpastor. Bodies go flying for a moment, but finally cleared away to the top of the area. Kolupny tries to further it on and finds the feet of Francielli. Gilbo, first time right back in. Wambach, and the flag comes up. Just a couple of minutes left here in the first half. Stick with us during the halftime break as Jen will come with some match analysis on the first half. We'll show you highlights from the opening half. And if you missed any of it, we'll get you right back up to speed. Great opening half here. That one runs out before Spizak can get to it. And she looks over to Jill Gilbo, wondering why the ball was even played back toward her.
Yeah, just either terrible decision or terrible touch or a little bit of both there by Washington. Never should have passed back to the goalkeeper even force her to have to run that hard to save it from going out of bounds.
And that will bring about the third corner here for St. Louis. It was Washington last week that we detailed, Jen, playing good soccer but couldn't find the back of the net as Whitehill heads this one away. And we heard the same sentiments. We detailed it a bit at the top of the broadcast. St. Louis felt they were playing good, and the results not necessarily indicative of how well they've been playing. And it's coming together for them here, at least in the opening 45 minutes. Singer. Nice job to open the hip. Wozniak making life difficult for her, though. Singer comes away with it. University of Texas outdoes University of Portland. Looking for another call.
Unbelievable.
As Ellertson sliding over. Let's take a look at it.
Unbelievable. She knocks Abby right off the ball. St. Louis is known to be a very, very physical team. That's fine. You can play physical, but you've got to play clean. I definitely question the referee's decision to have no call on that. He's got to be the one to keep control on this field from getting too physical. He's got to be the one to draw that line.
And that is Shane Butler, our referee. Certainly he is setting a precedence here for the second half for some physical play. All you can ask for is consistency from the man in the middle. Sawa wide here for Gilbo. In for Long, tries to dummy it through here for Lori Lindsay. Pops loose. Sawa goes to the ground, but the ball trickles back into the gloves of Hope Solo.
She gets a 10 on the form, though. That was a nice little fly-in dive into the ground. I mean, she was certainly tripped. I think not intentional by any means. But Amari even made the fall to the ground look graceful.
Pastor with a little tackle into Daniela. Daniela comes in, I think, with a little bit of retaliation there. And the word from Jim Guevara was that he knew that this St. Louis side would be physical. That's part of the reason DeDiker is in the lineup. So we just received word, 2 minutes of stoppage time. Whitehill, easy chance for Solo. And going back to the point, Jen, I don't know that we knew it would be this physical from these two teams here.
Well, I think that back line of St. Louis is just, they're crossing the line a little bit, in my opinion, and the way that they're playing Abby Wambach.
Gilbo, right side. Tough collection, but Ali Long does well with it. Whitehill looking to string Wambach through the middle. Ball slips through. Abby making life difficult, and the push from Kia McNeill. And immediately all eyes turn to Shane Butler, but no whistle. That might have been the most blatant of all of them, though.
Well, here's what you need to consider. Either Abby Wambach is a great actress and is really diving to the ground every time there's contact, or there's something happening we're just not seeing.
In here for Ali Long. Flag stays down. Ball gets caught up underneath her feet. Let's go back to that last collision. As I said, I think this one was the most blatant. Watch from the right side of your screen.
Keep in mind, here's your question. Is she playing the ball? Absolutely not. There's not a question. She's playing the body. They are not playing the ball.
Nice little exchange there from Wambach and Sawa. The shot goes just wide of the near post, and I think Hope Solo slowing things down. Let's take one more look at it.
I mean, this is what the officials should look for. Not only does she go into her body, she throws her left arm out at Wambach. That's Kia McNeill. Again, she's had a few questionable no calls and one card already in this game.
Well, certainly some of the no calls that you just mentioned by that man, Shane Butler, might be up for discussion here, and we will get into that during the halftime break. But the storyline also includes that woman right there, Daniela. 2 goals in the first half to help St. Louis Athletica to a 2-1 advantage as the teams head for shelter here. The rain coming down here to bring the first half to a close. But all in all, Jen, still a good first half here.
Yeah, good. Both teams getting some good looks, good chances. Great start for St. Louis. I think that Washington had some good looks of their own, though, offensively. They challenged Hope Solo. That's exactly what they needed to do.
You mentioned Hope Solo. She will be joining us in just a moment as she is joining us by headset down there on the corner of the field. Hope, physical first half there, and your thoughts?
Most definitely, it's very physical right now. I'm inspired. You got Tina Ellertson playing out of her mind right now. She's inspiring me. I'm really proud of our defenders. I'm really proud of our team right now.
All right, and how about just some of those battles in the air, Hope? Do you kind of feel like you've done what you needed to do so far?
I called that, right? Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I think I got to go up strong each time, you know. As I said, I told you I got to start punching, especially with the rain coming down right now.
Hope, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll look for you in the second half.
Thank you.
That is Hope Solo, the St. Louis Athletica goalkeeper. The 27-year-old does concede 1 goal, but at the other end, St. Louis get 2 for their own cause, and they, in fact, are in front at the break. I love some of the words she used. Inspiration. When we heard her in the call this week, she talks about how she loves responsibility. You love that kind of passion from the goalkeepers. We step aside for a timeout here on WPS Sundays on FSC. It is 2-1. St. Louis, the visitors, in front.
I'm Ozzy Osbourne, and I'm the Prince of Darkness.
The Lich King is the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy.
Well, maybe you're the one who's been riding a bloody crazy train, but I've been the Prince of Darkness since 1979.
There can be only one Prince of Darkness.
World of Warcraft. Try it for free at warcraft.com.
Rated T for teen.
How much sugar is in these energy drinks? Let's find out. While waiting, you should know. 5-Hour Energy contains 0 sugar and only 4 calories. Its blend of B vitamins and amino acids can help you feel awake, alert, and productive for hours without the crash or jitters. The answer is 12. Over 12 teaspoons of sugar and 200 calories in these energy drinks. 0 sugar and 4 calories in 5-Hour Energy. There's a reason people choose 5-Hour Energy 2.5 million times a week. 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no crash later.
Right now, Proactive Solution has good news if you have a difficult pimple or sudden breakout and can't find relief. Because when you order now, you'll get the exclusive refining mask free with your 3-piece kit and enjoy free shipping on us. Just a dab, and the mask is designed to zap problem zits fast.
I put it on in the evening before I go to bed, and when I wake up in the morning, you don't have acne. That's a good feeling.
It works the fastest, it's potent. It's like my little skincare army.
Call now and order the amazing Proactive Solution to heal your acne and help prevent future breakouts. You'll save 50% on Proactive when you order in the next 4 minutes. Just $19.95. And get free shipping through this exclusive limited-time TV offer.
For on-the-spot pimple control, I use the refining mask. Just a little dab, that's all you need.
Don't just dream of clear, beautiful skin. Make it real. Order Proactive now and get free shipping on us. Call 1-800-273-4141.
Reminder for you, Barclays Premier League action on FSC, Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Hammers against the Reds, West Ham and Liverpool. And then the Blues and the Gunners, Chelsea and Arsenal in a London derby, Sunday, 11 Eastern Time. Mia Hamm, we had her here in the first half. She's being inducted into the Wall of Freedom along with Siri Molinix, and quite a day for the two of them. But let's talk about the match a little bit, Jen. Physical opening half of play.
Yeah, and I think that the challenge for Washington is to not get all bristled up and defensive. You know, if this is the way it's going to be played, you're going to have to play it, and you're going to have to find a way to adjust. St. Louis with the edge in the first half.
And let's make it very clear, we've mentioned physical a couple of times here leading up to this point in the match. It's not that we're against it, but you expect, you know, a little bit of fair call out there from time to time.
Yeah, you know, you've got to just know where to draw the line. You know, like plays like this, it's got to be a call.
Wambach just shoved down to the turf there by Kia McNeill. That's a battle that we will keep a close eye on as we head to the second half as well. Well, we will step aside for another timeout here, but of course when we come back, we'll bring you highlights from the opening half of play, match analysis from Jen, and lead you right up toward the second half kick. St. Louis in front, 2-1 at the break.
Singer in a band, and I'll drive all across the land with my friends all in the van, and I'll sing into a microphone.
The hybrid for everyone is here. The Insight, designed and priced for us all from Honda.
Not again.
Stop it!
With GameFly, choose from over 6,000 titles. Play as long as you want and send them back when you're done. $8.95 to start. No late fees. Gamefly.com. Games delivered. Product shown rated E through M.
Remember when you didn't have to spend a lot to give Mom something special on Mother's Day? With ProFlowers, that's still true. Send Mom a gift she'll love. A dozen roses for just $19.99. That's 50% off website pricing. Order now, and Mom also gets our elegant glass vase, plus your personalized card, free. Hurry, supplies are limited. Or double the roses plus this premium blue vase for just $10 more. Take advantage of this amazing TV offer. Go to proflowers.com, click on the microphone in the upper right corner, enter soccer in the box, and you're ready to send Mom roses for Mother's Day.
ProFlowers value is incredible.
The flowers usually last at least a week and a half.
These flowers are beautiful.
When I get a bouquet of flowers, I always feel loved and remembered.
This amazing TV offer is 50% less than website pricing, but only if you go to proflowers.com, click on the microphone in the upper right corner, enter soccer in the box, or call toll-free 1-800-FRESHEST and mention TV. Go online or call now.
Hi, I'm Julie Foudy. You may remember me as a soccer player, but now my most important role is as a mom. AYSO Soccer is great for helping kids grow because the most development and the most fun happens when everyone plays in all the games. So make sure they play with the American Youth Soccer Organization. Soccer has been such a gift in my life. I hope you give the same wonderful gift to your child.
The Barclays Premier League reaches the final act. The young, exciting Hammers take on Merseyside Giants Liverpool. Live Saturday on FSC. Presented by Sylvania HD LCD TV.
We cannot afford this stuff, Terry.
Oh, we could, Will. I am a shoo-in to be promoted during the Christmas week at Sheets and things. You know, I reek of management potential.
You put your hands in the corners like this.
I can't do it. I'm dyslexic.
And a reminder for you, UEFA Cup semifinal, second legs coming up. Shakhtar Donetsk and Dynamo Kiev, the Ukrainian side, Thursday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, followed later by Hamburg and Werder Bremen, an all-German affair in the other half of the semifinal. Glad you could join us here on a rainy day, but the spirits are certainly bright here at the Maryland Soccerplex. Jen Hildreth, Mark Rogandino here with you on WPS Sunday on FSC. Good opening half of play. We detailed in the last segment talking about physicality, but also some good attacking soccer.
Yeah, a lot of action, a lot of excitement. I thought we got a great game last week. Who would ever think that we'd been able to match that? But 3 goals in the first half and an exciting first half. Both teams really getting some good looks.
And remember, we were only 1-1 last week, and
That's
we saw
right.
6 goals. I'm sorry, 5 goals in the second half. So off to a good start here. Let's, in fact, jump into the highlights from the opening half of play. And it started with a chance for St. Louis. They get on the board first.
Yeah, the Athletica really looked good, coming out strong, some good offensive attack, exactly what they needed. Tancredi had a chance. Katie Jo Spisak had a great save, but then Daniela there to clean it up and find the corner, and she wouldn't be done with that one.
A little bit of dancing taught by Daniela there, the goal scorer. Back the other way here for Washington.
Just a great challenge. Hope solo, Abby Wambach in the air. Watch that one all day long. Hope had that one, but this one just too good by Sonia Bonpastor.
You can see she slipped it just inside the post there, and then some more magic here from Daniela.
And you know, upon watching this goal again, yes, it's a beautiful goal by Daniela, but that's got to be a stronger challenge by Alex Singer defensively.
And we mentioned some of the rough play in the first half. Abby Wambach, one of the players that took a lot of it.
Yeah, and there's always going to be a little bit of pushing, a little bit of physicality. Don't get me wrong, that's part of the game, but that right there should not be part of the game. It has been too physical in this first half, and we'll just have to see how Washington can respond, because that's nothing they can really control in the second half.
You can see the reaction there from Abby Wambach. Here's a look at your first half stats. Obviously 2-1 in terms of goals in favor of St. Louis. Shots on goal also in favor of the visiting side. 3-1 in terms of, 3-1 in corners. And just the 1 card handed out to Kia McNeill, who I should add has been one of those physical players at the back for St. Louis throughout the opening 45 minutes. So the first half is behind us, and an opportunity to look toward the second half as the rain really starts to come down here at the Maryland Soccerplex. But it's going to be a good one. Sit tight. We're back with more after this.
The Barclays Premier League reaches the final act, featuring the game of the week. Arsenal, Chelsea. Fabregas and the Gunners are out to prove they're no pushovers. But Lampard and Chelsea want payback after losing earlier this season to Wenger's Young Guns. Live May 10th on Fox Soccer Channel. Presented by Sylvania HD LCD TV.
Here comes Mexico. Volley! Bernie! Yes!
The stars of Serie A shine on FSC. Chievo will fight for the upset when they take on league leaders Inter Milan. Then, 2 giants face off as Beckham and Milan look to crush Del Piero and Juve's Scudetto hopes. Serie A, live next Sunday, only on FSC.
There's Abby Wambach back out onto the field, getting ready for the second half. The Washington Freedom captain, and no doubt one of the leaders of this Freedom side, but is the Freedom who actually trail coming into the second half, much thanks in part to that lady, Daniela, the Brazilian. 2 goals in the first half to spark the attack for St. Louis. And in fact, the 25-year-old Brazilian, a 3-time Olympian, is very good in the first half. 2 different kinds of goals. One on a second chance opportunity to open the scoring, but then that second one, just a bomb from about 35 yards out. Jen Hildreth, Mark Rogandino, the rest of our Fox Soccer Channel crew here with you. WPS Sunday on FSC. Teams have now switched in, so it is St. Louis with the light gray socks and tops and the green shorts attacking from right to left, while the home side here, the Washington Freedom in the dark blue kits with white trim, they defend the goal to our left. This is Homari Sawa. Into the feet of Wambach. Early ball from Lori Lindsay, doesn't get through. Second chance as she battles in the air there with Francielli. Devanna has come in here in the second half for Washington, the Australian international. Looks like she moves into the lineup. Back from St. Louis the other way. And looks like Devanna has come in to replace Ali Long.
Looks that way, yeah. It's sort of surprising. An earlier move to bring in Devanna than we're used to seeing from Jim DeBara. He likes bringing her in later in the game. She's a good spark off the bench with that speed. He may feel with a wet field, with her speed, they may be able to take advantage of that a little bit on some of those long through balls. A much speedier player than Ali Long, a player who he sometimes felt bogged their offense down a little bit because she took a little bit too long with her decision making. I thought she did better with that today, to be honest, but there were a few moments it did kind of get slow when the ball was at her feet.
Yeah, he added that she's a great 1v1 player, but sometimes, as you just alluded to, she tends to slow the attack when they really have numbers going forward. Devanna hits the turf, free kick here for Washington. As you would imagine, that will bring Kat Whitehill up to serve it in.
And I think every one of these free kick opportunities are dangerous ones for Washington. Kat Whitehill serves a beautiful ball. One of the best, if not the best, in this league.
I don't remember her with the yellow shoes last week.
I think these are new.
Whitehill lofting one in, bounces through into the gloves of Hope Solo. There was space there at the front, and in fact, Kat Whitehill, as I looked over to, immediately putting her hands up saying, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, come on, guys, go for it. Little miscommunication. She told me she does not aim for a particular person. She aims for space. She expects her teammates to find that space and run onto the ball.
Well, and to reinforce that point, as we had our conversation with Abby when we got here today, you know, I asked her, is there something specific you look for to rub off a defender? As she tried to get away from Rachel Bueller last week, today she's trying to get away from McNeill and Ellertson. She said, no, just try and find some space. Whitehill pokes that one away. Francielli battling there with Lori Lindsay. Ball pops loose. First time through from Stoya.
Dry socks are key. Yep, and they're thick wool socks.
Just underway here in the second half. 2-1 with St. Louis in front. Washington looking for a response. Devanna, quick turn on the ball. Coach Jim Guevara refers to her as one of their spark plugs in terms of energy and pace coming in the second half. We'll see if she can provide it. There she is taking it from Abby Wambach, and a quick ball out for Alex Singer.
Switching the point of attack, something that was going to be key for Washington, although Singer not able to control that ball on the opposite side of the field. The midfield was a place that was won by St. Louis in the first half, especially early on.
Kalupny tries to send it forward, looking in the space there for Eniola Aluko. Second chance here for Athletica. Gilbo, first time to get it outside the area, and it finds Lori Lindsay.
Should note, by the way, Kalupny sticking with that defensive spot. She's in the right back position. She started the game in the midfield. Francielli moved up into the midfield, and Kalupny moved back. She does play a defensive position for the U.S. national team.
And it looks like a move from St. Louis coach George Barcelos, maybe to counter, because Bonpastor was finding some freedom on the left side.
And he did that in their last game. He made some adjustments in the second half against Los Angeles because he felt that Ayamiyama was getting too many looks from the midfield position on the left-hand side of the field.
Here's Becky Sauerbrunn, the University of Virginia, back for Katie Jo Spizak. There is George Barcelos. No, if you're wondering at home, Jen and I have not picked up Portuguese. Here's Devana off to the races, but McNeill comes over to poke it away. Like the rest of the league, Barcelos assistant Carlos Machado also serves in 2 capacities, as the assistant but also as the unofficial translator for Coach Barcelos. As Ellertson heads that one clear, but it comes loose here for Devana. Sawa. Nice little exchange. Lori Lindsay hits it. And a save from Hope Solo.
Young goalkeepers out there, if you want to know how to save a low ball hard on the ground when it's raining, do exactly what Hope Solo just did. She makes every save not only look like, I don't want to say easy, she's very solid with it, but she puts so much aggression and energy into it. Everything she does, she comes out hard. And it's so important when the field is wet to get your body behind the ball, but Hope still does the most important thing first, which is to get her hands to the ball.
And then, of course, going down on what goalkeepers refer to as the sleds. Her forearms able to go down and slide across the grass. Sawa trying to gain possession here, but the ball pops loose. Here's Daniela. She's been player of the match, no doubt. Weber trying to send one in here for Tancredi. Maybe a little exchange, but Gilbo comes in, and then Singer will just send it away. Alex Singer, also out of the University of Virginia. She'll get it back on the left side. On Pastor. Sawa. This is what she does well. Sprays the ball wide for Gilbo. There's Tancredi, the Canadian, coming back to defend, and she'll get possession.
You can see what Washington's trying to do. They're switching the point of attack. They're trying to get the ball out wide. Just the touch becomes a lot more difficult on a wet field.
Devana, nice little touch over the top. Here's Abby Wambach. Ellertson staying right on her hip. Serves it in for Bonpastor. Secondary run from Devana. And she'll use her small frame, but wisely as she gets possession here. Trying to turn the corner. Weber with just enough of a touch, though, to poke it away. And now Daniela will just send it clear. Nobody really in that space.
Yeah, too much space there for Washington. Kind of need a little more forward thinking from some of your defenders, defensive midfielders, to get up and fill that space. Give your front runner some support.
Wide here for Alex Singer. Into the feet of Abby. First time back for Sawa. Nice run off the ball there from Lori Lindsay. Cuts it back onto her right foot, and again, there's Solo. Perfect technique as she brings this one in.
Lori Lindsay, though, with a nice little quick turn. Give herself some space. Hope's going. Talk to her, and she's had to be very much a leader and an organizer back there defensively, because that defensive back line for St. Louis is so young. It certainly helps having Kalepny back there. The switch that was made in the first half of this game to bring her back from the midfield. Look at Wambach coming all the way back to defend.
This one will roll out for a throw here. Jill Gilbo to put it back in play. Devana trying to touch it off for Wambach, who is making the inside overlap. But instead it's Francielli. Here from Melissa Tancredi. Two defenders converge from Washington. Ball comes to the top of the area. Daniela, maybe does she have the hat trick in her? Pops loose here for Francielli. Chance to wind up, she does. Spizak spills it for a moment. And she'll get right back on it.
And you can just see quite the contrast in goalkeepers between Spizak and Hope Solo. She's unable to hang on to this ball, but look how unsteady her hands were going for that ball, whereas Hope Solo is still getting her hands out very aggressively, very strongly every time the ball comes to her. It's part of the problem Washington's been having.
And like most of the fans here, Jim Guevara trying to keep nice and dry. But credit to the fans here at the Maryland Soccerplex. They have shown up with a healthy crowd here. Holds about 6,000. I think with as we showed you the hill back behind Hope Solo's goal right now. There's, some fans over in there as well. Credit to them coming out in the tough conditions and enjoying WPS, hey, they're being rewarded, Jen, with a good game.
That's right. Real soccer fans don't mind a little rain, right? Hope Solo very comfortable with her feet, as most people probably aware, a very talented field player in high school. In fact, a two-time Parade All-American as a forward in high school.
You know, along the lines of Hope Solo, I thought it was interesting as well in our conversation when, you know, she added things like, everyone knows about the controversy that I've gone through. Everyone knows the story about my dad and how difficult that was for me growing up. But she almost wants to just wipe the slate clean and put that all behind her and talk about just this team. Talk about St. Louis, what they do, what they can do. If you missed it, to open our broadcast, we had Hope Solo on record saying St. Louis should be there for the championship in this inaugural season. Great ball to open things up wide here for Jill Gilbo. She'll bend one in towards this penalty spot intended for Devana. Secondary chance, pops top, ball Pastor. She takes a hit on the way in. It's going to end up as a corner here for Washington. Francielli was the player that got a piece of it.
Devana was a little bit slow to try to get this ball. Gilbo was out in that space for a long time before Washington finally got it to her. But she still had a lot of time, and if you're St. Louis, that's a problem. You need to be aware of a player hanging around like that, especially a player who had the assist on Washington's only goal earlier in the match.
First corner of the second half here for Washington. Bent in, Solo, there to punch it clear. Exactly what she told us with her halftime comments.
And that's how you punch a ball out. I mean, not to keep using her as a textbook, but she's doing a pretty good job of it. A lot of times you think a punch is just a giveaway. It's not. You can see Hope really directed that ball with a lot of power out away from where it would be in the danger zone for a deflection or a second shot.
Ball goes out, and will be another corner here as Bonpastor trots over to the far side.
Obviously, keep an eye on Abby Wambach. She is always a target anytime there's any kind of a set piece situation.
Two center backs come forward as well, Sauerbrunn and Whitehill. Into the area, Sawa was in the area, as was Kat Whitehill, but headed away by the Athletica defense. Here's Lori Lindsay. Washington applying some good pressure to maybe find the equalizer here in the first quarter, an hour of the second half. Well, Pastor. Ball skips through. Hope Solo there to cut it out.
It's the second time, though, I've seen the St. Louis defense has a hole in that back weak side. Jill Gilbo, the Washington defender, is stepping right up into it. If Washington gets a quicker change of field, they're again going to have a lot of room to work with Gilbo over there.
Yeah, the big switch has been on a couple of times for the Freedom. Aluko trying to spring Daniela down the left side. Kat Whitehill comes over first, though, to nick it out. There's Kat Whitehill. Another one of the UNC products, 27 years old.
As solid and strong and smart as a defender as you'll find in this game. So confident back there. And it's so funny talking to the players, because obviously we thought rain might be a factor in this game. I talked to offensive players and they said, well, you know, I feel like forwards, we really have the advantage when it rains because it puts the defenders under pressure. I talked to Kat Whitehill, a defender. She said, oh no, defenders have the advantage because the forwards aren't going to get the balls exactly the way they want them. It's just, you know, she is never going to concede an advantage in any situation. All these players are so competitive. They're not willing to give up an advantage to anybody. So you be the judge. I personally think that the defender is at a bit of a disadvantage in the rain because their mistake leads to a one-on-one with the goalkeeper potentially.
And that is something we will have to keep an eye out here. St. Louis step in possession. Trying to spring Aluka. Here's Daniela. Tackle away, hard tackle there from De Dijker. That's the physical presence she brings, and actually she's hobbling a little bit as she gets back up onto her feet. Lori Lindsay.
Abby wanted that ball back, making a run on the same side. but Lindsay didn't see her.
Lisa Stoya to spray it out wide here for Kalupny. Aluko. Good recovery there from Sauerbrunn. Back for Spizak, who has to hit it away first time.
Smart by Sauerbrunn, too. She knows that speed Aluko brings. She didn't want to play around with it too much. She one-touched it back to her goalkeeper. It was a safe play.
Well, as Washington gets set up to put the ball back in play here, 61st minute of action, we revisit Jen's Gems and talk about how things have gone for both teams.
Well, I think that St. Louis has done a very good job of being poised when they're getting their offensive opportunities. So check mark for them so far. For Washington, I don't think they've won that midfield battle. They have done a better job in this half, I think, of switching the point of attack, and that's what they're going to need to continue doing.
Jim Guevara is going to have to make a switch here because it looks like Kristen de Dijker, she's trying to walk it off. She went into a hard tackle with Daniela. But the 28-year-old out of the University of Denver, two-time NSCAA All-American. We'll just have to keep a close eye on her right now. Back for Ellertson. Didn't do the best to clear it. Abby. Great save at the back from Solo.
Defensive miscue almost proves costly here as Abby Wambach gets a nice hard strike on the ball, but Hope Solo was there and made a great play to knock it away. Abby didn't have a heck of a lot of options from where she was. Solo had the angle cut down. Abby decided to try to go near post, and Solo was all over it.
Kristen de Dijker tried to run it off in terms of the injury, but now she'll just go down so that our referee can come over. Shane Butler will come over and check on her, and that certainly will prompt Washington Freedom head coach Jim Guevara to make a sub here. In fact, the stretcher will come out. She's grabbing her right ankle. In the meantime, Washington will get set for their third corner here in the second half of play. It's going to be Rebecca Moros. Moros, a player that was in the starting lineup last week for Washington, but with Bon Pastor coming back into the fray, Moros to the bench, and now she'll step on to replace de Dijker. Here's the service. Wambach rising up. Moros will get a touch right away. Tries to send it across to the backside. Lori Lindsay in front, and there's Hope Solo once again.
The physical athletes that St. Louis has makes it very difficult to gain much of an advantage in a corner kick opportunity. Washington hasn't had as much success as they're normally accustomed to getting. With Abby Wambach in there as a target, and the way Sonia Bonpastor serves that ball in, it's a great ball in. But St. Louis has the athletes to combat that. What a touch by Kalupny. Keep that ball alive.
Now Daniela had the 2 goals in the first half. Her second in the 41st minute is the difference right now. Kalupny trying to get around Alex Singer. She does, serves it in. Sauerbrunn didn't have the cleanest of clearances, but her left back, Alex Singer, will come over to help out. Devanna, first time into the feet of Lori Lindsay, who then finds Gilbo. This is better from Washington. Up the right side now here for Abby Wambach. Ellertson trying to slow her down, and Tina comes away with it.
Nice bit of defense there by Tina Ellertson. Played that very smart.
Sawa, the 2 number 10s battling there between Daniela and Sawa.
She smiles on the ground. We got a pretty good view of it from up here. Daniela went ahead and grabbed Sawa's jersey. Seen a couple of jersey pulls here in the last few minutes. Now Abby Wambach just crouched down to the ground.
65 minutes of football behind us here on WPS Sunday on FSC. And it is St. Louis in front 2-1. That is the same scoreline they took into the halftime break. Here's Lori Lindsay. 2 goals on the year so far. Good splitting ball for Hamari Sawa. Back for Lindsay, waits for that overlap from Gilbo. First time in here for Moros. Tries to turn there on Ellertson. Good defending. Moros will get a second crack at it though. Gilbo, nice service in for Abby. Tries to shield it down. Looking for Sawa to make the run in from the top of the area. Little missed time there. Washington dominating the possession though right now. Devanna. St. Louis has spent a lot of this first half just trying to push the ball back out to midfield. Whitehill wisely opens it up wide here for Gilbo. Pushes it in here for Moros, but the slick turfs sees that one run out for a throw for St. Louis.
Touch just too much on that from Moros, although I think you can credit St. Louis's defensive pressure. Wozniak there on the defense to force her into a bad touch.
And here's the former Notre Dame star, Carrie Hanks, coming in to the match here in the 67th minute of play, and she will replace the Canadian international, Melissa Tancredi.
I think Carrie Hanks is an interesting story, a player who, just looking at numbers and stats-wise, you'd expect to be having a much bigger impact than she has been able to thus far for St. Louis.
Also the ball there from Moros. In for Bonpastor. Sawa, first time in for Abby, looking to turn onto her right foot. Two defenders there for St. Louis. And another corner. Will be their fourth of the second half and fifth overall.
See what Bonpastor opts to do with it. There is Carrie Hanks, talked about a moment ago for St. Louis, 84 goals in her career at Notre Dame.
2008 Big East Player of the Year. Service, this time to the far post. Wambach is there, and in fact gets it with the head, but off target.
And if you're St. Louis and you're forcing Abby Wambach to get the ball in her head that deep in the box, you pretty much have done your job. You never want to concede a chance to her in the air, because we've seen her turn those chances into magic and turn them into goals, but she was so deep and that was such a tough angle for her. The defense had done their job. Even though she was able to get that ball, she did not get it in a position where she could be very dangerous with it.
Just ask the FC Goal Pride, 2 goals for Abby last week. They both came off of her head. One at the beginning of the match and one for the victory in the end. Back the other way here for St. Louis. Foot race to get to it. 3-1! The English international, Eniola Aluku.
And that's a tough goal for Spizak. She hesitated a little bit. She was on her way out to get this ball, but the speed of Aluko made her hold up and try to get back in position. I think because of that, she was a little bit on her heels and maybe not exactly where she needed to be to react to this save. Aluko's speed allows her to run this ball down. She puts it nice far post, low to the corner. There's the finishing touch that St. Louis has lacked so far this season up until this match.
After a win in the performance last week for Katie Jo Spizak, it has turned into a much tougher scenario for her here today at the Maryland Soccerplex. And again, Janet will probably bring up the conversation. They'll go back to some of the goalkeeping a little bit here. Not that you can blame Spizak for those goals, but you know, when your team doesn't win, you look at certain areas a little more critically than maybe if you're winning.
Well, and here's the thing. Like Jim Cabrera said from the last game, Spizak wasn't outstanding, but she wasn't poor. She did all right because they got the win. Yes, she was under less scrutiny. This week, however, who knows what's going to happen. I think it is certainly, it's a weak spot. There's no question about it. Goalkeeper is a weak spot for the Washington Freedom right now. They have got to get Erin McLeod in the mix, and they need to do it soon. I don't know why it's been taking so long. I'm sure it has all of the Washington Freedom people scratching their heads as well. See right there, did you see that little hesitation? She went the other direction, and maybe that was just enough. Now still, that ball was very well placed. Not gonna throw her under the bus because it was a great goal, but that little hesitation by Spizak can be the difference. You know, Kat Whitehill, the defender for Washington, told me good defending is about good decision making, and that goes back to the goalkeeper too.
You can also probably look at the positioning, the starting positioning there for Becky Sauerbrunn as well. She was a little late to get, it was a foot race, and you know that Aluko is going to be faster to get to it, but from her starting position, maybe she can cut that angle and get to it, at least to make it a little more difficult for the English international.
Yeah, you play a speedy player differently than you would, say, a post-up player. You've got to give them a little more room to work with, be a little farther off of them, because they can eat up that space much faster than you probably can.
Oh, they can all eat up the space faster than I can.
Not you. You as the defender.
Gotcha. Singer back for Sauerbrunn, trying to work through the middle for Sawa. Bon Pastor. And now Lori Lindsay delivers one out to the right here for Jill Gilbo. This one should skip out, and it will. So we are in the 72nd minute of play. Daniela in the 7th minute, Bon Pastor to equalize in the 29th. Daniela gets her second in the 41st. And now it is Aluko who comes in and makes it 3-1 for St. Louis, and putting a little bit of a hush over the crowd here at the Maryland Soccerplex. I should also add, Jen, that you know, we carry the Barclays Premier League on FSC, and Aluko coming from Chelsea Blues, the women's side, in 2008.
Had 20 goals, I believe, for that side last season.
Circles back into the gloves of Hope Solo.
You know, and you and I were talking before the game, Mark, how I think one of the difficulties for the St. Louis team is really the lack of a real proven goal scorer, like an Abby Wambach, like a Marta, like a Kelly Smith, like some of these other teams have to build upon. St. Louis didn't really have that. Not in the front line. They had Daniela in the midfield. They had Kalupny in the midfield. And those two had the most shots taken. Their forwards, they just weren't that dynamic goal scorers that some of these other teams possess.
And it looks like they are taking a look at Tina Ellertson. She maybe took a shot in the nose. Training staff out there to attend to her here in the 73rd minute of play.
Tina, a two-time Pac-10 Player of the Year at Washington, where she was a teammate of Hope Solo's. As a forward, Washington's all-time leader in goals and points, in fact. Now converted to a defender for St. Louis, and she'll head to the sideline.
And Nikki Cross will come in. Ellertson, in fact, quickly touching base with Cross to make sure she keeps up the defensive effort. That one is headed away by McNeill.
And if you're Washington, you know, now one of St. Louis's most physical defenders is not in the game anymore. Yes, Kia McNeill, I'd say, is the most physical presence back there, but Ellertson did a fantastic job defensively. I think she's a big loss for them on defense.
So two changes have been used by Jorge Barcelos, the Brazilian coach for St. Louis. Bon Pastor. Feed it forward for Devana. Ball pops loose now for Lisa Devana. Here's Abby Wambach. She's run off the ball. Washington keep possession though. Jill Gilbo. Cuts it back inside and finds a little bit of space. Left-footed ball inside the area, headed back across by Lori Lindsay.
Well, Jill Gilbo has really had some great services when she's gotten into the attack for Washington. That one with a beautiful spin on it, angling right toward the goal for Lindsay, but a little bit behind her.
Solo puts it back in play. St. Louis, a quarter of an hour away from their first victory. And the first time. Chance there, Singer runs it down. Nice service in for Wambach, flying through the area. Still alive here for Devana, trying to get it over her shoulder. And effort there. Let's go back to that last chance a couple of moments ago. You mentioned Gilbo.
Here's the ball she serves in. It was just a little bit behind Lori Lindsay. Perhaps Lori expected her to get the service off a little sooner, run just a bit mistimed. But it seems like Washington's almost one and done, where they're going down and getting these offensive opportunities, although they have managed to keep the ball in their offensive third here for the last few minutes.
Sawa trying to feed it in for Devana. Pushed away immediately by the St. Louis midfield. And it'll be a throw here for Washington.
Remember, Washington, you know, they never believed that they were out of the game last week, and they had to come back and win that one in the very last minute. They had the 2-goal lead in that one. Now they're down 2 goals. It's going to take a little more resilience here. But I think this team gained so much from that win last week. We'll see if it can carry over a little bit.
Gilbo, backside. Devana is there, but so is Kalupny.
And that's where you want Abby Wambach. Abby was making the near post run on that ball.
Second chance effort, ball bounces in. Looked like it might have taken a deflection on the shot there from Moros, but it is ruled a goal kick here for Athletica. Daniela trying to feed it into the feet of Carrie Hanks. Just off there. Weber. Now Daniela again. Moros coming back to help defend here for Washington. Back for Kat Whitehill. Under some pressure, trying to send it clear. And in the process sends it into the St. Louis bench.
Might have been a handball on Barcelos there, but he'd get away with it. He's allowed on the sideline.
Lindsay. Sawa. Wide spot here for Sauerbrunn. Devana. Some good moves on the ball, trying to use her heel to flick that one into the space for herself. Deflects out off the St. Louis defense. Pastor. Trying to turn the corner, but in the process earns another corner here for Washington. They've been tallying them here in the second half. This is their 5th in the second half of play.
Just about everybody up in the box for Washington.
Not the best of services, but it does skip through. Might be a chance for a counter back the other way. Bodies collide. Alex Singer came in hard with the challenge. Back post chance. Devana, she equalizes!
How many players do you think would have just taken a strike on the ball if you were Abby Wambach, but instead she decides to try to find her teammate, and what a finish by Devana. Just take another look at this here. The ball pokes out. First of all, great challenge by Singer to come up and get that ball. What a touch by Abby, and a great finish near post by Devana. I was just about to say, I don't think we've really seen her come alive yet in WPS. And it gets a little bit behind Hope Solo. She was a little too far out to the right-hand side of that post.
And an injured player down for St. Louis. And it looks like it's a non-contact injury. I believe it's Daniela that's down.
Well, if it is Daniela,
It is.
Yeah, she was battling a left knee injury, and it's difficult to tell. I don't want to speculate which knee she's holding down there, but that's the injury that had been kind of nagging her. It's why she did not go with Brazil for their friendly last week. There's kind of been this little nagging knee injury. And it doesn't appear that it's the left knee, for whatever that's good or bad for Daniela. It appears to be the right leg.
And it was just as the two teams came back to midfield to set up for the kickoff. And immediately as the ball was put in play, Daniela going down. Those non-contact injuries, specifically with the knee, and you can see she's in quite a bit of pain. Those can be some of the worst ones when there's just no one around you and you do in fact move awkwardly or bend the knee the wrong way.
Yeah, those, so often that's where those 3 letters ACL come in, and certainly hope that's not the case.
Well, and you knew it was serious because immediately Sonia Bonpastor, who obviously plays for Washington, was right down by her side. And usually a pretty good indication when you see the other team, a couple of their players step right in to check on another player, that the injury is pretty significant. So they'll bring the stretcher out. And let's just say, Jen, I mean, she has been fabulous today, Daniela.
She has. You know, I mean, obviously the 2 goals are huge, but she has been such a force in the midfield and a player who's just been getting better and better as the season has gone on and as she was able to work past the injury.
Let's take a look and see if we can pick out something here, Jen. Watch her on the right side of your screen, walking forward.
You see she's number 10 there, right in the middle, kind of going for the ball.
Oh, and it was right there. She came in with the challenge against Abby.
Yeah, well, there was contact. It wasn't one of those non-contact, at least it didn't look like. You know, it looked like it happened after the challenge from Abby Wambach.
You can see, obviously, there's concern from a lot of the St. Louis players. There's Hope Solo down there attending to the Brazilian. The 25-year-old Brazilian midfielder, and you know, a lot of connection between Jorge Barcelos, the manager, and so they will stretcher her off. So that will add a bit of stoppage time, and obviously our concerns are with Daniela. She still has not really moved that right knee. 3-2 the score here, as Washington just came back through Lisa Devanna to cut it to a 1-goal lead for St. Louis. And George Barcelos will be forced to use his last change as he looks to Cherie Gray.
Gray will come into the game, but I mean, this is a crushing blow for St. Louis. There's no way around that. Daniela has been a phenomenal impact player in this game, and they're going to have to find a way to work through this and survive.
Certainly, you know, a mental challenge for the visiting club here.
And it's tough because Washington sees the momentum with that goal.
There's Carrie Hanks, tries to bend one around. So Kat Whitehill came in to defend. Let's go back and take another look at the goal. Lisa Devanna. Nice little ball across.
Abby knew what she wanted to do with that ball as soon as she got it, and Devanna managed to put it near post behind the goalkeeper, which is tough to do. Tells me perhaps Hope Solo maybe a bit too aggressive in trying to come out. But just a great strike by Devanna. I mean, anytime you get within the 6-yard box, it's going to go advantage offensive player.
Reminder for you, UEFA Cup semifinal second leg. It is Hamburg and Werder Bremen. 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time live. That, of course, is 11:30 a.m. out on the West Coast, and you can catch it Thursday on FSC. Meanwhile, back here, Maryland Soccerplex is going to come down to the wire in this one. 3-2 in favor of St. Louis. They took a 2-1 lead into the halftime break. With this gal on the ball here, Lisa Devanna has cut it to a 1-goal lead for the visitors. And Jen, we know that Washington is going to throw it all at them here in the final 6 minutes and some stoppage time.
St. Louis has Hanks. He had him wide open in the middle of the field. Took a little bit too long, bringing the ball down on the right side. And I think St. Louis needs to keep their heads up, keep their foot on the accelerator.
Devanna, Abby getting to the penalty spot, but instead it is pushed away. Nikki Cross able to get enough to get it outside the area. Wozniak, she's been quiet here in the second half. Can't hang on to possession. Sawa, square ball to the feet of Lori Lindsay. Gilbo has plenty of space out wide, and St. Louis quickly try to adjust to it. Gilbo brings it in on her own. Gets past Elise Weber, has to hit the brakes. Still in some traffic. Inside for Bonpastor. Sawa back out top for Lori Lindsay. Great sequence from the Freedom.
One thing Jim Gabera said about his team last week was he felt when they had that 2-goal lead, they kind of sat back a little bit and let the other team come at them. And one thing that St. Louis needs to do right now, and it's tough when you lose an emotional leader like Daniela and someone who's been controlling the midfield the way that she has, you've got to still find a way to be aggressive and play your game and go forward. Don't be content to just wait and see what Washington does and let them dominate the pace and dictate what happens in this game. You still need to find a way to do that.
Just to follow up your comment, Jen, on Daniela, who's still down behind the St. Louis bench. I looked down for a moment just a second ago. There's a look at Lisa Stoya. And George Barcelos, the coach for St. Louis, as I mentioned, close ties with Daniela from their time on the Brazilian national team, came over there and looked at Daniela and grabbed her a couple of times on the face. She's clearly emotional.
And just got a good look at Lisa Stoya on the field a moment ago while we were speaking of Daniela. Obviously, she becomes her role even more important in the midfield with Daniela on the sideline. And Lisa really is a phenomenal story. Was an assistant coach at West Virginia, had been really out of the game as a player for quite a while, and she is the player, the linking player in this St. Louis midfield. George Barcelos said everything goes through her, and now more so than ever with Daniela out of the game.
Kept in on the far side by Aluko. Trying to find her way into the corner to serve one, but before she can, she's taken down, and it's a free kick here for St. Louis. Well, there is a look at Daniela, who just came off a couple of moments ago. And then on the other side of the field, Eniola Aluko. See if you can pick out something, Jen, on the tackle there from Sawa.
I would pick out a slip on the wet grass. That's what it looked like to me.
Wambach sends it forward, intended for Lisa Devanna. St. Louis handled it as McNeill sends it out here for Kalupny. On Pastor. Gilbo here on the right side. Wanted to squeeze it in for Devanna and finally finds the window to do so. On Pastor, ball pokes out wide. Wambach is there. Two players converge to slow down Abby, so she picks out the feet of Sawa. Japanese international to the right side for Gilbo. Back inside the area. Wambach is there, but from distance. And just looked down and saw our referee, Shane Butler, as he looked to the fourth official on the sideline. 6 minutes of stoppage time to be added on here. Cat Whitehill. Okay, Hanks will draw a card from Shane Butler for that. Second yellow of the match handed out by our referee. Kia McNeill, the center back for St. Louis, picking up the other there in the first half. Whitehill sends it forward. Bonpastor, and it's 3-3!
What a weapon is Cat Whitehill with the service. I mean, great finish. Let's not discount the finish by Bonpastor. But are you kidding me? From her own defensive third of the field, a beautiful, perfect ball served up by Cat Whitehill. St. Louis is under pressure. They can't get rid of it. Bonpastor has the advantage because she is facing forward, and she uses every bit of that advantage and puts it away.
And it's worth mentioning, she's not the biggest player on the field out there, but there was 3 defenders in the area for St. Louis. But yet it's the French international who rises up to head it home 2 weeks in a row. Last couple of minutes of the match. Last week it was Abby Wambach with literally almost the last kick of the match to make it 4-3. This week, Sonia Bonpastor to make it 3-3.
And that's part of what I was talking about with the rain before, how it puts pressure on the defenders to have to get rid of the ball. See, the way that Kat served this ball in, all the defenders are running backwards. She puts it over their heads, and it is so hard to get up and get a good clearance when your momentum is going the other direction. Well, Bonpastor just used the momentum in her direction.
Again, looking over the top, intended for Wambach. Instead, it's Moros putting it into the space. Abby should be able to run it down, and she does. Has support back here from Lisa Devanna. Lori Lindsay looking for a quick little 1-2 inside there with Moros. Here's Bonpastor to come back and get to it. Nice little heel flick there into the feet of Gilbo. Now wide for Devanna. Well, that one runs out. We are into stoppage time, 6 minutes total, as indicated by our referee Shane Butler. And through the first minute and change. 11 goals, 103 caps with the French national team. 2 goals here today to open her scoring account. And a yellow card going to be handed out to Elise Weber. That's for the time-wasting tactics.
So 2 weeks in a row, we've seen 2-goal leads vanish in the second half.
Carrie Hanks couldn't keep that one in.
Last week for Washington, this week for St. Louis. Heartbreaking if it stays this way for the Athletica, who are still searching for their first win.
And the second half substitute, Nikki Cross, tackles Abby Wambach from behind. And that's going to set up a free kick here for the Freedom. But Jen, this isn't the typical long distance where Kat Whitehill can serve it in. What maybe can we look for here from a shorter distance?
Well, either Kat or I wouldn't be surprised to see Bonpastor take this ball either with that left foot and angle it in.
It's going to take quite an effort to beat Hope Solo from this distance, probably right inside of 30 yards out.
I think you've got to look to connect. I don't think you put this one right on goal.
4-man wall to protect the near side. Sawa over the top. Bonpastor, as you said, right at Hope Solo, though.
Well, that's why. I mean, from that distance, it's tough to get much of an angle on it. And Hope Solo is going to get that ball if you put it anywhere within her grasp.
Becky Sauerbrunn runs it down against Angie Wozniak. Moros off to the races. Inside for Devanna. Sawa trying to keep it alive. Still alive here though for the Freedom. Gilbo applying some pressure. And Hope Solo takes a shot inside the area from Hamari Sawa, but just sheds it right away to come back and try and spark the counter. Carrie Hanks with a little touch to get past Alex Singer.
I love it. Like if you bring something against Hope Solo, she's going to use it as fuel to her own fire.
Kalupny trying to get on the end of that ball. Kat Whitehill though to send it away. Little less than 2 minutes left here in stoppage time. 3-3 here at the Maryland Soccerplex. St. Louis had built a 3-1 lead in this one, only to see Washington claw their way back with goals from Devanna and Bonpastor, 2 of their internationals. Gilbo on the right side. Could they make it a late winner, a second week in a row? Bonpastor, and I think halfway in between a cross and a shot somewhere there, but it goes out nonetheless.
A beautiful, nifty little touch to clear herself some space, but then a bad touch on the service. She had Wambach coming in on that far post. slick field not helping Washington as that ball sails out of bounds.
Francielli tries to flick that one through. Sawa is there to pick it up here for Washington. Devanna again trying that heel flick. I have a feeling that's one of the moves she likes to use in her arsenal quite often.
Well, the thing with the heel flick is it generally only works every once in a while. If it becomes an everyday kind of move, people they catch on to it.
Right. McNeill into the feet of Stoya. Right side there for Gray. Back here for Kia McNeill. First time ball looking up top there for Carrie Hanks. Whitehill will just send it up top, looking for Abby Wambach. Flag stays down. Devanna with space in front of her. Moros and Wambach making the inside runs. And if Rebecca Moros lets that one run through, ooh.
Now that's the dangerous thing with a wet field. You know, Kat Whitehill was just trying to clear that ball away, and a missed touch by St. Louis gave Washington a chance.
Shane Butler's whistle brings us to the close of 96+ minutes of soccer here at the Maryland Soccerplex. And I don't think anyone is going to be going home unhappy with this, so maybe with the exception of a couple of St. Louis players. A 3-1 lead disintegrates in the final 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I'd have to argue with you there, buddy. I definitely think the St. Louis players are going to come away from this very disappointed. They got what they needed offensively. They hadn't scored all season long. They put 3 goals in the back of the net. They have a 2-goal lead, and they're unable to hang on. I think that's got to be so frustrating for this team and not the result they were looking for.
Tough pill to swallow, but they have to do so nonetheless. We step aside for a timeout. We'll come back and show you highlights from this one and wrap up shop. The final 3-3 here from just outside the nation's capital.